Orange is here.
Subscribe to Masuk for a strong and prosperous economy.
The 2 p.m. newscast
with
Biwa Brian.
Good afternoon, Radio Faithfuls. You are tuned to Reality 8.4 FM. It's time for the 2 p.m. news. Let's have a ride to our lead stories. Concerns are mounting amongst parents and educators regarding the alarming rise of delinquencies and indiscipline in Cameroonian schools. The situation has escalated, including students abusing drugs, bringing dangerous weapons onto school grounds, and launching violence.
I saw one post on Facebook where a girl child, a secondary school, is drinking expo in class. It's very, very bad. When I see that as a parent, I feel discouraged to send children to school.
Out of the country, tensions are rising in Kenya as the nation's former deputy president reportedly fears for his safety following an alleged assassination attempt. In sports, the 2025-2026 ride for the Elite One Championship is on, with matchday 1 games played over the weekend across stadiums in the country. You have the headlines. Stay tuned for the news in better details. Once more, you are on to the 2 p.m. news on Reality 8.4 FM, and thank you for joining me. We begin in education, where we'll talk about the disturbing resurgence of violence and delinquencies in Cameroonian schools, with students increasingly violence in drug abuse, carrying dangerous objects, and attacking teachers. With some cases turning fatal, the issue is back in focus, sparking concerns among parents. Details with our reporter, Gang Nadesh.
According to us, the disturbing trend of delinquency in schools, which have resurfaced, exposes deep-seated issues within the education landscape. Osculate, a concerned mother of 3, expresses fears about sending her kids to school.
Children go to school now with harmful objects, knives, gun, all those types of things. It is very bad, very, very bad. Our country has been corrupt in such a way that even our students are corrupt. I, as a parent, when I see that, it is very bad. Like, for example, this morning I saw one post on Facebook where a girl child, a secondary school, is drinking expo in class. It's very, very bad. When I see that as a parent, I feel discouraged to send children to school, because nowadays children don't respect education, they don't respect their teachers.
Kelly empathizes with her fellow parents whose children are caught up in the cycle of such acts.
I just feel embarrassed. I feel pity, most especially if the parents of the children. The children might not realize how daunting that can be on a parent. But one thing I'll suggest is that even the Bible says that if you spare the rod, you spoil the child. In this particular age, this social media age, parents should follow up their children like a dog follows up food. That means check every nook and cranny of your child.
She adds that many parents have become too preoccupied, leaving their children vulnerable to negative influences.
Right now, parents are also busy, like the world busy. Parents don't have time to sit down with their children to discuss and talk about their children, talk about their life. Children will go to school and spend hours in school and come back. The parents are also still at work, and then everybody comes back in the night and they just go to bed and wake up in the morning and prepare again and start going back to work and to school. And the routine just continues, and then you see a child growing up with character traits that you don't even know where they're coming from. And then it now leads to all of those delinquent behaviors.
According to Osculate, parents can only do as much as guiding their children at home, but become restless once they step out.
There's no way to stop children. In fact, all we need is to pray to God, because you cannot follow a child to school to see whether what he or she is doing in school. It's not possible. So all we have to do is to just give it to God and pray.
Kelly once again laments that government's laws have taken away the biggest disciplinary measure, leaving teachers powerless.
In this age where students are becoming so stubborn, you are instead refusing the only means where we Africans were used to keep in check. How are we supposed to discipline a child? The government has a problem. You cannot be seeing a generation where we are really struggling to put the youth in check, and you're stopping us from using the whip that has been keeping us from back then in check. So I think parents are too busy, the laws from the government are not helping, and so the youth will just keep being delinquent if something is not done.
The reoccurrence of decadence is a stake sign that something has gone awry, calling the need for a united front between parents, teachers and government to give the kids the safe, supportive environment they need to thrive.
Ngang Nadesh in the report. And away from there, the annual conference for the Ministry of the Economy, Planning and Regional Development is currently underway, bringing together representatives from both central and devolved services. Proceedings kicked off earlier this morning with specialized workshops focused on the ministry's primary objectives, current initiatives and the future hurdles facing regional development. Under the leadership of the Minister Alamin Usman May, the conference aims to define strategic goals and strengthen the government's dedication to long-term regional prosperity. Elsewhere, Finance Minister Louis Paul Mutaze is scheduled to host the International Customs Day ceremony in Yaoundé today. The day, which focuses on the theme of citizen protection through vigilance, follows the minister's recent announcement in the West region regarding a 1.2 billion CFA francs allocation goal for 2026. Alongside the Director General of Customs, the minister highlights the sector's vital importance to the national economy and review the successes of the previous years. 8 new Pentecostal churches have been given authorization to go operational in Cameroon by the government. The go-ahead was made public over the weekend through a decree signed by President Paul Biya. In line with this, our head of reporters, Brigade Frinwick Crispin, captured the reactions of a man of God in this report.
Pastor Tita David of the Full Gospel Mission begins by commending the state of Cameroon for authorizing these churches to operate across the national territory.
We really want to appreciate the head of state for the move, because for quite some long time now, many years now, there has not been any presidential decree when it comes to churches in Cameroon. Is an applaudable action that he has taken, and we welcome it with good faith and with gratitude.
The servant of God believes that these decrees will calm the tension that followed the recent closing down of some clandestine churches in the country.
It's also going to give grounds to these churches to operate, to carry out their activities freely, and it is also a sign that these churches now have the backing of the head of state, that if they have to organize a program that they need the backing of the law enforcement officers, they will have it now, because they are now fully recognized by the state, which is biblical, because according to the Bible in Romans 13, it is recommended that the citizens are called upon to be subject to the governing body, because the Lord is the one that establishes people in authority.
It is worth noting that in 2025, the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Tanganji, had ordered the closure of 188 illegal churches out of the 615 operating in Yaoundé for subdivision.
Beginning from tomorrow, the Director General of Elections Cameroon, Dr. Eric Esuse, will embark on a 3-day official visit to Ngaoundé in the Adamawa region. The primary focus of the trip is to preside over the opening New Adamawa Regional Delegation and Vina Divisional Agency headquarters. While in Ngaoundé, the Director General will hold meetings with local staffs and host audiences as part of a broader national initiative to enhance electoral services in the country. Cameroon's Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Tanganji, has distributed 700 wheelbarrows, 700 shovels, 700 bundles of brooms, and 700 racks to the 7 municipal councils of the capital city, Yaoundé. The activity that took place at the town's hall Esplanade came in a bid to keep urban centers clean. Here is an excerpt of his interview after last Friday's donation.
We have brought all the stakeholders to launch this to keep our towns clean, particularly Yaoundé. The city mayor gave us already a picture of what they have been doing on the field, thanks to a special grant from President Paul Biya. All the mayors in Yaoundé have received equipment, and this equipment will help them to clean the town. But we realized that they had some challenges in terms of coordination. That is why we have brought the governor, the SDO, and the DOs to accompany the process. This is not the job of the Ministry of Territorial Administration, but the coordination of government activities at the level of the region is placed under the supervision of the governor. At the level of the division, under the supervision of the SU. At the level of the subdivision, under the supervision of the DIOS. So we have asked them to be part and parcel of the process so that we should keep our towns clean. So as much as the different administration will be carrying out their duties, the governor, the SDO, and the DIOS will now accompany the process for it to be effective. The Minister of Territorial Administration is just giving his own small contribution to each council so that with these young people that they have recruited, thanks to a financial support from President Paul Biya, they can do the job effectively. It is a collective responsibility.
And following that move from the Ministry of Territorial Administration to donate 100 wheelbarrows, 100 shuffles, and 100 brooms plus 100 rackets per council in Yaoundé, city dwellers have been reacting to this outing on the microphone of our reporter, Evans William Jopati.
Distributing wheelbarrows and all the tools to the councils is a very good initiative. But the question is, will the workers be able to put in that effort that is required to make sure that the towns are kept clean? More extra manpower should be increased so that they will do light work.
It's a step in the right direction for civic consciousness. We must all become more intentional about the environment we live in. A cleaner Cameroon begins with a change in our individual habits. However, we cannot expect a permanent solution to urban flood. True change requires that refuse collection companies like Isakam and new operators be paid consistently to prevent the recurring strikes that leaves our neighborhoods buried in waste.
I expected the government to be able to get companies open bids. If that has been done, the Minister of Housing and Urban Development needs to work in collaboration with other ministries to see how they can actually curb this waste management. Because I tell you, we are going to need billions of francs here to actually make Yaoundé to become clean. This is a face of the country. And I think hundreds of wheelbarrows and spades in a city like Yaoundé will not be enough to give it that facelift which Cameroonians are expecting.
Bearing in mind that the city of Yaoundé has long been battling with a poorly disposed waste, our newsroom equally approached the services of an expert in the domain who equally makes an appraisal of Minat Boss 8 to the 7 councils in Yaoundé. Evans William Jobati has a report.
Speaking to Duval Ibale, an actor in the waste management sector, he reveals that these municipalities have never lacked the means, but rather the follow-up to keep the city clean.
The municipalities have always had these resources, but that has not changed anything. If we involve key actors in waste management in Cameroon or Yaoundé, you'll see that this issue will be resolved easily.
Furthermore, the household waste collection promoter recommends that the government give them the chance to perform these tasks, for they know better.
We have been dealing with this for years, and perhaps we lack the resources. We have all the strategies to combat the unsanitary condition in the city of Yaoundé. It should come closer to us, invite us to believe. I have never received an invitation from a ministry regarding garbage collection since my involvement in this sector.
It should be noted that this same process was conducted in other cities like Marwa and comes at a time when Cameroon prepares to welcome delegates from around the world, most notably for the 14th World Trade Organization WTO Ministerial Conference come January 26 to 29, 2026.
And from you, Evans Williams Jobati, let's head out of the country to check out what is making news out of Cameroon. Mapala Zita, who is a senior reporter and editor-in-chief here at Royal FM, has joined me in the studio with our international news file. Welcome, Zita.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Zita, Uganda's military chief has denied that the army assaulted Bobi Wine's wife.
Military Chief Muhoozi Kainerugaba has denied claims that soldiers assaulted Barbara Kyagulanyi, the wife of opposition leader Bobi Wine, during a raid in their home. In a post on X today, the general affirmed that his soldiers did not beat up Barbara. Wine, who is in hiding, alleged over the weekend that his wife was held at gunpoint by military officers who assaulted her, taking away documents and electronic items. Speaking from a hospital, Mrs. Kyagulanyi said the officers had demanded to know Wine's whereabouts and had assaulted her when she refused to respond. The military chief in his post, however, stressed that they did not beat up the woman but are out to trace her husband, who has been asked to surrender since Museveni was announced winner of the January 15 presidential elections. Brian.
Over in Kenya, Zita, you say the country's ex-deputy president is scared for his life after an alleged assassination attempt.
Prominent opposition figure Rigathi Gachagua has alleged that there was an attempt on his life during a Sunday church service. Gachagua, who was sacked as deputy president in an impeachment trial in 2024, claimed in an interview that rocked police officers shot at everybody and tear-gassed the church in Othaya in the central county of Nyeri. He had previously accused his former ally President William Ruto of ordering the attack but did not provide any evidence. The police say they have opened an investigation into the case, adding that no injuries were reported. William Ruto has not commented on the issue yet, but Interior Minister Kipchumba Murkomen condemned the violence, calling it unacceptable.
What else do you have in your file, Zita?
Chinese President Xi Jinping has said Beijing and New Delhi are good neighbors, friends and partners. This as the two Asian giants continue to improve ties in the wake of U.S. President Donald Trump's tariff war, which has shaken global trade. According to Chinese media, Xi made the statement while wishing Indian President Draupadi Murmu congratulations on the South Asian nation's Republic Day today. Then Venezuela's interim president Delcy Rodriguez says her country has had enough of U.S. orders. Speaking to oil workers during an event in Anzoátegui, Rodriguez stressed that it is important to open spaces for democratic dissent, but that it must be politics with a capital P and a V for Venezuela. The South American nation has been under pressure to open its petroleum sector to U.S. investment since Washington captured former leader Nicolas Maduro earlier this month. And then thousands of anti-ICE protesters marched through Minneapolis yesterday to voice their anger at the fatal shooting of a local man a day earlier. Shut down, they chanted, as many waved signs calling for justice for the 33-year-old Alex Pretty, who was shot and killed by a border patrol agent early on Saturday. The Department of Homeland Security, which oversees the Immigration and Custom Enforcement Agency, said Pretty was shot after he approached border patrol officers with a gun. Officials, however, did not say if he brandished the weapon or kept it hidden.
We now talk sports, beginning in handball, where Cameroon's senior men's handball team have been knocked out of the ongoing African Cup of Nations in Kigali, Rwanda, following a challenging group challenge where they recorded 1 win and 2 defeats in the group stage of the competition. After that group campaign in the competition, which was defined by 1 win and 2 defeats, the team has officially been eliminated from trophy contention and will now look forward to classification games in the competition. Here is an excerpt of international handball referee lecturer Chiffon Henry, who evaluates Cameroon's performance in the said competition.
Guinea-Conakry that I know that I've been there to train the referees. I saw the way the Guinea-Conakry team was being formed since 2016 and up to date. I realized that they were up to something. And our last game, I realized that when I was thinking about Guinea-Conakry, they had to do it. I think that the problem comes inside the federation. It means there is some sort of management in the federation that did not go on well, and finally we had to have this type of results. I don't want to recall that the Cameroon Handball Federation for some time now has too many internal problems, and up to now there are no solutions concerning these problems. It was impossible for us to match up with Tunisia because Tunisia has been 10 times champions, and in the history of handball, Cameroon has never beaten Tunisia. Our second game, when I watched the game, I realized that we had too many errors, individual errors, collective errors, wrong passes. We were very fortunate to have beaten Kenya by 4 goals difference. So I felt very skeptical about meeting Guinea.
We now talk football, where match day one of the Elite One Championship for the 2025-2026 football season kicked off over the weekend with an opening game at the Bafang Municipal Stadium, pitting a newly promoted Unisport of Bafang against Fraicheur Royale of Menua. The said encounter ended in a 2-0 win in favor of Fraicheur Royale of Menua. Here is an excerpt from the head coach after the said victory.
I just feel good. First of all, thank God for the victory. Very difficult encounter against a good team of Unisport. We saw the first half, they were tough in the fight, but after we had a chance, we scored 2 goals, and we can just thank God and prepare for the next games.
First of all, I'm very happy for the victory of today. We came with a lot of confidence. We started the match well. During the first half, we controlled the game, but lack of opportunities during the first half. We went back, coach talked to us, ghosted off. We came back during the second half, and everything went well. Our objective for this season, we are just newly promoted to the first division. There are other teams that have been there, so we are humble before them. We are going to try to maintain our team before any. As a player, I want to have good performances, score goals, give assists.
And in other match day one games over up north, Kotong Sport of Garwa tied the defending champions Colombe Sportif of Jai Lobo to a virgin draw. Gazelle Football Club of Garwa beat visiting Fraicheur Royale of Mongo by 1 goal to nothing. PWD of Baminda suffered a 3-0 defeat in the hands of Victoria United of Limbe. Panthers Sportif of the beat the Fireboys of Fazue lead by 2 goals to nothing. Dinamo Football Club of Douala beat AS Fortuna Mfu by 4 goals to 2, while Kanong Sportif of Yaoundé played a 0-0 draw with Stade Renard of Melong. Post-match reactions from Kanong Sportif of Yaoundé.
It's not easy after 4 or 5 months, little bit very difficult. We have a lot of occasion. Normally we have to train the finishing, and we have to make more in our way to play, because today we make sometimes a lot of long balls, but it's the first day of the game, and sometimes it's not easy. Yes, some days it's like this. Asiga, who missed the 2 last goal, I think, was the best goal scorer last season in MTN Elite 2. Okay, today is not good, but I think, I am sure he will score a lot of goals. As trainer, I need Canon dominance.
And it is from that sports page that we now transit to have a summary of this newscast in the French language to be presented for us by Annie Lisette Ambassa. Good afternoon.
Bon après-midi, Biwa Brian. Insalubrité, la lutte s'intensifie. Les 7 mairies d'arrondissement de Yaoundé ont reçu du matériel d'assainissement. L'initiative du ministre de l'administration territoriale s'inscrit dans le cadre de l'opération Yaoundé Ville Propre sur instruction du chef de l'État. 8 associations religieuses viennent d'être autorisées à fonctionner en toute quiétude. Ceci fait suite à un décret signé par le président de la République en date du 23 janvier 2026. À l'étranger Kenya, l'ex-vice-président Rigathi Gachagua a déclaré avoir échappé à un attentat alors qu'il se trouvait dans une église à Otaya, Nyeri Country. L'ex-homme d'État affirme que des personnes armées ont lancé des gaz lacrymogènes et tiré des balles réelles à l'intérieur de cette église. Il souligne aussi que ces véhicules ont été vandalisés. Gachagua a accusé le président William Ruto d'être derrière cet attentat et a demandé aux Kenyans de prier pour sa sécurité. Sport, handball, CAN Maroc 2026. Les Lions indomptables de la discipline déjà éliminés jouent actuellement les matchs de classement.
It is with that summary from Annie Lisette Ambassa that we have come to the end of today's edition of the 2 p.m. news over Reality 8.4 FM. The news so successful thanks to the technical expertise of Salomon Isana. On the cameras, we had Brian Bida for our various social media handles. Production assistance came in from Evans Williams Jobati. Editorial coaching we got from Abel Bela Samari. Script editing Mapala Zita. Coordination we had from the station's manager Roger Kiek, and for general supervision the Reverend Pastor Bisai Emmanuel Noel. Representation, my name is Biwa Brian, ushering you to what's coming up next on Reality 8.4 FM, which is part 2 of Fraicheur Royale. It is going to be presented by Raisa Parker.
It's me.
Yeah, it's you. Welcome.
Thank you, Biwa Brian.
So what are we going to see in part 2?
We continue with the same thing. Voilà, the